Strip everything down to image, word, idea. Without narrative, it means nothing.
This is MJ. I'm an author, I'm an artist, I'm an analyzer. Find all my work at mjmonews.com. Welcome to Super Sentai Sanctuary. Join me as I analyze Avataro Sentai Donbrothers. I will be discussing the nuances of selfishness and is Tarou selfish or selfless? Plus, I have a creator spotlight on series writer Toshiki Inoue. This is Super Sentai Sanctuary Episode 5, Only Thinking of Yourselves. The credits and information for the actual show of Donbrothers are as follows. Avataro Sentai Donbrothers, Episode 5, The Doghouse Siege, was originally aired April 3rd, 2022. The writer is Toshiki Inoue. The director is Katsuya Watanabe. The writer tracker, Inoue has done all 5 of the episodes so far. The director tracker, Tasaki did 2, 1 and 2. Shojiro Nakazawa did 2 as well, 3 and 4. Katsuya Watanabe did 1 so far, 5, but he's scheduled to do episode 6 as well. We'll see if that turns out to be the case. I'm sure it will be. Anyway, I'm going to go right into the negative stuff of the episode. There are 2 things here. The resolution of the siege was kind of a cop-out. And that was kind of a joke. The second thing is, randomly we have a mecha fight again, and I don't get why. And there was something with Kaito, a Sentai gear turned from like the black weird version of it to a colored version with Pot Ranger on it. And I just saluted when I said Pot Ranger. I guess that show did something to me. Anyway, so I'm assuming this was a Lupin Ranger, Pot Ranger villain or whatever, or monster. I still don't know if these are actual monsters from the show, and I really don't care to look into it and see whether or not they're the actual monsters or if they're just very much inspired by them. They're probably reused suits. That's what I would do, I guess, if I was doing something like this. I mean, they're reusing suits anyway, so yeah. Strange, but I believe a Lupin Ranger villain was defeated previously without a mecha, and there was a medal obtained by Kaito, but it was similar in that it was, black and... Is it black and gold, or is it just black and white? I can't remember, but it's lacking something, and then in this mecha fight, that medal was converted, and it, upgraded, transformed, or whatever, it returned to its true form, something like that. I guess that matters to the show, but I don't care. I don't like it. And the way they went about it, where it's just like, oh, all of a sudden there's a mecha fight. This thing's going giant. This is an, what is it? Abstinence? No. Absence makes the heart grow. No, that's all right. Abscess. From Gridman. Something iteration. Absence iteration. It feels very much like Gridman, the way that other city, the AR world pops up and stuff. Anyway, that's not really a complaint. It's just more of a comment. I got to move, though, because I got a lot to say. Positive stuff. Inuzuka's secret. I like it. I like that he has a secret. I like that there's some lady he's protecting. She's his sister. She's his... Yakuza princess, she's who knows what, cousin, girlfriend, I'm not sure, but I like that he's got a secret, that he's trying to run from the police for a year to protect this lady from something, and that he has fond memories of her, and that she's inspiring him, to stay a fugitive. But I also like how by the end of the episode, like 85-90% through, he has a realization, and he's like, oh, I've forgotten about happiness. I've forgotten what she was really like and what life was like with her or whatever. And I need to remember that. So he's going to hold on to the goodness and the positivity and try to stay positive, try to stay happy as he's struggling through this stuff. So that was pretty cool. I love the Ship of Fools bottle plot. It was delightful. Especially with all the quirky personalities and all of the characterizations that we have gotten so far and that we're seeing expounded upon, just how Inoue had them all come together. It's super ridiculous, and it almost doesn't make sense, except for the fact that, well, 2 things. One, I mean, these are how the characters are written. These are their motivations. These are natural outgrowths or consequences of what we've seen displayed by them before as crazy as that may sound, and, it's Tokusatsu, it's Super Sentai, so, all sorts of magic stuff happens, but they really do come together in this naturalistic way, and it's hilarious and goofy and funny, and I loved all the internal monologue between the characters, or not between the characters, but like that they were keeping to themselves as they're interacting with each other. That was a lot of fun. Oh, which, goes to my next point, which is that the characters play so well together, and my final point in the positive stuff, which is that they're all very distinct, and I love how through their distinction and like how hard I'm not going to say how hard they are defined by certain tropes, but just how well defined they are as characters and how different their character types are. It's good, it's positive, it makes them feel very distinct, and you can get like you can always rely upon a person of a certain persuasion to act in that way. So you can see how the different characters would act, and they're different from each other as much as they possibly can be, while still being, Super Sentai heroes and stuff. So like there's going to be some degree of homogenization as they all, save people and things like that, but the way they go about it is going to be different, and their reactions to it are going to be different as well. Excuse me. Oh, I've not had a coffee yet, so let's see. Direction. The action part wasn't amazing, but the character direction was good. The shots were all energetic, even though it could have been boring given the lack of action, and that's going to be relevant when I talk about the director next week, so stay tuned for that. As far as writing goes, I'll quickly go through these. So there's interesting tease from the Ultranites, and I'm curious as to see where that's going to go. Happy birthday, dear Tsubasa. That was something. That was something special. That was something beautiful. That was something else. I didn't make it my favorite thing of this episode, or like the main thing I wanted to talk about, because I think the topic of the nuances of selfishness and selflessness are more going to be more fun to talk about. But I loved that. I absolutely loved how they all came together as a team, and how Mamoru or Momoi Tarou really is like helping them to alter his people, and I find it fascinating. I really do. Anyway, so I feel really bad for, little Tarou waiting for like 10 hours for people to show up to his birthday, and Jin, lying to him, giving him a little white lie to make him feel better that, everybody was probably busy and that's why they didn't come to his party. It's sad. I have sympathy for the guy. And gosh, I don't know. It was a touching moment. Well played, sir. Well played. And then, so final thing for the writing is all the self-centered motivations that brought the Donbrothers together make for an interesting conversation, which I already touched on, so I'll be discussing that soon. In general notes, a 6-year-old got bored and walked away about 50% through this episode, so I don't know what that means. Maybe they're just not sophisticated enough to handle Inoue's writing for children in another country. So, moving on to the reflections. Is there any nuance to selfishness? Can it be good sometimes? Is there a bad side to selflessness? If so, how? Is Tarou selfless or selfish? So, I will try to address these quickly. Yes, there's nuance to selfishness. Can it be good sometimes? Yes. If nobody ever wanted anything for themselves, we'd all die, probably. So you need to cover your basic needs. You need to want to cover your basic needs, if that makes any sense. So you need food, shelter, clothing. You need various types of security and stability for yourself in order to thrive. If people are living in a pure or in an entirely survival situation, once they become hardened and adapt to it, they can move on to some degree of flourishing, but without your basic needs being met, you will wither and die. So, yes, just for that, selfishness is good. What about when we're living in a society? How is selfishness okay? Well, selfishness is okay and good because selfishness gets you to the point where people like different things and dislike other things and can only benefit from, or their likes and their dislikes, if they follow them or are guided by them, will lead them to doing something that truly makes them happy and probably will lead them to a position where they're serving others and bringing them happiness, because those people being served by the servee, or the server, enjoys the thing that they're doing so much that they do it really well, and the people being served by them enjoy it so much that they're willing to part with their money for that, and then you have this great exchange. For example, my grandfather started the family business I work for about 30 years ago. He didn't like working with people. He wanted to be the captain of his own ship, and he has been very generous with people over the years, and I think has been a huge blessing to many people, myself included. And I think if it weren't for him following his own desires, we wouldn't be here. Or some of us, I wouldn't. Lots of my family wouldn't be here, and we wouldn't be in the position we're in. And I owe a debt of gratitude to him for him selfishly following his own desires and his will. I have other family members who have been selfish to a point of self-destruction and self-harm that has not only afflicted them, but people around them, and had negative consequences. So in my own life, I've seen that sort of thing happen, and I can see the different sides of it. And I think, getting back to the show, you can definitely see that the selfishness of these different characters plays out in different ways. I wonder if self-centered versus selfish would be a better way to put things, because, Tarou says you were all only thinking of yourselves. Haruka was trying to get her manga. She was trying to get experience, a unique, crazy experience, so that it'll help fuel her as a writer, and she'll be able to produce a more original manga that will help her overcome this plagiarism charge. Tsubasa Inuzuka is comfortable doing certain things, stealing the bread, breaking the window of the polar bear delivery service, running for, he's not hitting the cops, he's just running from them and stuff, right? He planned to trick Haruka into being his hostage so that he can get himself clear, and he can get through this 1 year period of being a fugitive and then free somebody else. So he's doing all these bad things, but he's doing them for a good reason. He's doing them so that he can help save somebody from wrongful imprisonment, because I believe that it was a whole frame-up job, and that this lady, whose name I can't remember, she shouldn't be punished for this thing either, but he's on the run because he decided to take the blame, but he doesn't want to take the rap because he's innocent, which is totally understandable. But that brought, Haruka was there because she wanted to talk about stuff with Tarou. Then, when she realized she was in the situation of being held as a hostage, she wanted to stay in it. He held her a hostage, Tsubasa, so that he could get away from the cops because he didn't have his glasses, right? Then you have Kiji brother, Tsuyoshi, yeah. Tsuyoshi coming in, he wanted to do this, he wanted to thank Tarou, either out of obligation or because it was what he desired. So it was either something he felt he had to do, or it was something he felt he wanted to do because it would make him happy, right? So that draws him to the place. Tarou comes in because he wants to handle his business. He wants to help his company. He wants to do this stuff and get ready for the reopening so that they can continue to deliver things to people. He's a delivery man. His service, his act, or his work is service of sharing and bringing things to people in order to grant their desires, so to speak, and bring them that happiness, right? But that's what he wants to do, and he himself clarifies that he wants to help. He doesn't understand what happiness is, so he wants to make other people happy, so that in bringing them happiness, he can understand what happiness is, which I don't think it's happiness that he doesn't understand. I think it's boundaries and social norms. So he's on the spectrum, is he? I don't know. Whatever, doesn't matter. Good for him or not. I don't know. I don't know. I think there is a degree of selfishness in what Tarou is doing, even though he's chosen a path of selflessness or selfless action in order to bring him to that place of understanding. Now, here's the question, or here would be the issue. Let's say once he understands what happiness is, he decides to not bring people happiness anymore. He just says, oh, this is what happiness is? Well, now I know what makes me happy. It's killing puppies. Urgh! Yeah, obviously that would be bad. But, or anything that turns him away from, being a servant type of person, being a giving person, being a selfless person, would be negative. But it's because it would turn his actions negative. Whereas even though he's acting through a selfishness, I would call it motivated self-interest in actuality, and say that he's doing something good with that. And that's my argument. And there's tons of, that's sort of a Randian, Ayn Rand. I've never read any of her books. I didn't come to my political philosophies because of her, but in the circles I travel, I hear a lot of people talk about her, and I hear a lot of people assuming that everybody who thinks the way I do, they don't want the governments murdering people, we don't want Russia bombing Ukraine. We also don't want America to help the Saudis bomb, blockade, and starve innocent people in Yemen, where I think hundreds of thousands of children have died. I think the total is millions of people by now. There are old numbers from, was it the WHO that collects the death numbers? Anyway, there are at least hundreds of thousands of people who've died of starvation, of cholera, which if you don't know what that is, it's disgusting and terrible, and it is tragic that anybody would die from that in today's age, because all you need is access to clean drinking water to not die from it. But again, my country is helping Saudi Arabia, which was the country that 19 of the 9/11 hijackers who blew up and destroyed the Twin Towers came from. We're helping those guys starve to death and bomb innocent people in Yemen. And nobody cares about that, but everybody cares about what's going on in other places, supposedly. Anyway, it blows my mind. But I'm evil, and I'm a follower of Ayn Rand because I have some of these nuanced thoughts. That's what some people think, and it's insane. So again, I've never read any of her stuff, and she talks about selfishness being a virtue, and I don't know that I agree with that, but I think that it's a little more nuanced than most people want to pretend it is. And I'm just here for the intellectually honest conversation about these Japanese children's television shows. So I'm going to move on from that uncomfortable little tangent to a creator spotlight on Toshiki Inoue. So Toshiki Inoue has been writing for Toei since before I was born. He is known for his work on anime and tokusatsu dramas and films, mostly on the Kamen Rider franchise. He is known for his work in Chojin Sentai Jetman, where he became head writer of the series. His first writer credit from this wiki that I sourced below is for Choshinsei Flashman, episode 14, which was Love, Bun, and the Female Gangster, which aired May 31st, 1986. I don't think my parents had even met by then. It's crazy. Anyway, he has written a lot for Toei on both Kamen Rider and Super Sentai, as I said before. His first episode of Sentai was in 1986, and his first writer was Kuga in 2000. Inoue is actually the son of one of the writers of the original Kamen Rider from 1971 to 1973, who then wrote for V3, then X, then Amazon, and then Skyrider after Kamen Rider's 4-year hiatus, as well as Super 1, which followed it. Masaru Igami was the head writer for the original Kamen Rider and worked on the TV versions of Kikaider and Inazuman as well. Toshiki Inoue's daughter, Akiko Inoue, wrote the Kamen Rider Decade novel. This man is practically Toei Tokusatsu royalty, and it's a little bit crazy. So yeah, that's really cool. There's a bunch of links to all that stuff below, and I've synthesized as much information as I can. So I'm going to give it to you like an overview of his career real quick. Here we go. So Toshiki Inoue has written on 12 Super Sentai series, including Donbrothers, and 10 Kamen Rider series. That's 22 years, guys. That's a long time. He was head writer for 2 Super Sentai, Jetman and Donbrothers, which is currently airing, and 3 Kamen Rider series, Agito, Faiz, and Kiva. He has written for Sentai and Rider since 1986, taking breaks in 1994, and then a few episodes, then he wrote a few episodes, so he took a break in all of 1994, then he wrote a few episodes of O-Ranger in 1995. He did not return to Sentai until 2000, for 2 episodes of Time Ranger, then the Jetman episode of Gokaiger in 2011, and then Donbrothers in 2022, for his current head writer position. He wrote for Kamen Rider from 2000 to 2006, taking a year off for Yasuko Kobayashi's Den-O. He returned in 2008 as head writer for Kiva, worked on Decade in 2009, and returned to Kamen Rider in 2018 for Zio and some episodes of Zio and some Zio tie-in special projects. About 4 years later, he returned for Avataro Sentai Donbrothers. Reading the article about that on Tokunet got me interested in this series, and that is why I am telling you this all now. Toshiki Inoue wrote Kiva, which is one of my favorite Kamen Rider series. Kiva was deep and beautiful and meaningful to me, and I watched it as a husband and a father, and it hit me in such a powerful way. So I feel like I synthesized the information succinctly. If you want to dig in a little more, follow the links below the spotlight section. And that is going to wrap it up, although I will circle back real quick to... Oh, did I already say what the next episode is going to be? I think I might have skipped that. I meant to tell y'all the next episode is going to be King Pheasant for a Day, which sounds totally different from the other translation that is from the wiki, which sounds like pheasants having a bad day or something like that. So I don't know how Overtime makes some of their choices or how different groups translate things differently. It really is an art form, and I am thankful to these people for making this stuff and getting it out to us widely distributed for free. Yeah, I guess I just want to point out, to circle back to my question about the motivated self-interest and the selfishness. Yeah, I wouldn't be doing this if I wasn't selfish, and I didn't have a need to and didn't enjoy watching these shows and commenting on them. So if you're enjoying this, you owe it, or you can have a little bit of gratitude for some of my selfishness. So, and if you want to be a little selfish and check out more stuff, you can do that. I've got lots of things going at the website, mjmunoz.com. You can find all sorts of analysis of different shows, comic books, tokusatsu, anime, Star Wars stuff, and more. And I'm just going to keep building my library of stuff that I create as a analyzer. And I am working on more projects as an author. I want to have a long, ongoing, big, huge superhero universe. That's what I'm planning right now. That's what I'm working towards. I want to write some kids, or I'm planning on writing some kids' stories first, like children's picture books. Hopefully get a little seed money from those, and just kind of keep rolling things until I have enough money to bankroll more writing and eventually comic books. And I'm gonna do a whole thing. It'll be a whole schmear. It'll be wonderful. And if you like how I analyze stuff, hopefully you'll like the stuff that I make, as a lot of it is inspired by tokusatsu and such. So you can check out that stuff. And I need to do some artwork soon, because honestly, I don't feel good if I haven't drawn something in a long time, and it's been a while since I've drawn something for myself. Drawn stuff for my kids, but not for myself recently, and I'm kind of aching to draw again. So you can check all that stuff out there. Stay tuned for more Donbrothers, more Super Sentai Sanctuary. I will eventually get Super Sentai Sanctuary on its own RSS feed. Right now, it's borrowing, I think, Henshin Inspection, or it's on Henshin Inspection and something else, so I might just link that and clearly notify that. I keep thinking I'm going to do it, but I'm so busy doing all these other projects that I keep running out of time and don't do it. So anyway, until next time, folks, take care. I leave you with peace and blessings, and please check out my other stuff, because I think you might enjoy it.